Welcome to Kentucky Football Nation. Well, the offensive line coach Eric Wolford saga continues. The controversy definitely just keeps going. Now, go back and watch one of the first videos I made back in March where Mark Stoops addressed the Eric Wolford situation about taking him back. It was controversial. I'll link to that video in this. I won't rehash all that of what Mark Stoops said, but I'll link to it in the description. Go back and watch that video on the Eric Wolford controversy. But yesterday it was announced that we extended Eric Wolford's contract for another year. He had a 2-year contract. He did the first year, and we extended it for 2 more years because he would have had this year, and then it would have been over. Now, Kentucky Sports Radio, they questioned it today. They did not like it at all. They questioned it just like everybody else would. Why are you taking this guy back? You know, Brock Vandergriff, he's out of football because he got hurt so bad because the offensive line was terrible. And they bring up all good points. But let's talk about it. Now, there's a rumor, and I don't believe this. They were talking about this. Somebody said he was the 7th highest paid offensive line coach in the nation. I don't know if I believe that. But I will say this. He's going to make $900,000. And then in 2026, he's going to make $925,000. Is he worth $1 million? Well, that depends. Is the offensive line going to improve? No, I think it is. So let's just go back and talk. I also talked about this in my offensive line video. You can go back and watch me break down the offensive line and what was said by the players. So we picked up 4 players in the portal, really good players who Wilberly may not start at center, but he might. So we picked up Wilberly from Western Kentucky, really good center. I know you say Western Kentucky. This guy's good. He's the best lineman on their team and one of the best linemen in that conference. He specifically mentioned Eric Wolford as the reason he signed with Kentucky. Joshua Braun played at Arkansas last year. I think he also played at Florida. Specifically said he signed because of Eric Wolford's pitch to him. Eric Wolfslager from Bowling Green, all conference. Once again, you say Bowling Green. Not only the best lineman on Bowling Green, one of the best linemen in that conference, said, I signed because of Eric Wolford. And I go over this in my offensive line video. You can also go back and watch. For those of you that are new to my channel, I broke down all the units. I broke down the offensive line. I broke down wide receivers, running backs, defensive line, defensive backs. You can go back and watch all those videos. We go over all the players because I didn't know who all the players are either. And then, of course, we got Siage Pete from New Mexico, and that was the crowning achievement because that guy is projected to go to the NFL. And he didn't specifically mention Eric Wolford, but he did mention Mark Stoops is the reason he came and chose Kentucky. Now, I'm sure money had to do something with it too. So you got 3 offensive linemen left over from last year, Jagger Burton, Jalen Farmer, and Malachi Wood. So is Eric Wolford worth $900,000? Well, we're going to find out. Off of path, this is what KSR was talking about, and you can't argue with it. Past record, no, he's not. I mean, we had 2 awful offensive lines. Now, he did leave and go to Alabama for 2 years, and Nick Saban. And then, of course, KSR was talking about they had a horrible offensive line, and I don't know if he left on his own or when Nick Saban left, he left. So, and also Mark Stoops says he's in demand. So, I don't know, guys. I really don't know. Like I said, we're going to find out this year. We're going to know after we start playing Ole Miss, Texas, and people like that, whether or not Eric Wolford is worth $900,000. But let's talk about, I looked at some of the other coaches' salaries. Let's go over some of the other coaches' salaries just for the knowledge of it. Brad White, our defensive coordinator, makes $1.7 million. And I think he's worth it because he consistently has a good defense. I know statistically you look at it, but listen, our offense is so bad, the defense is on the field all the time. So the guy can't work miracles, but they only gave up 22 points a year last year on a god-awful team. You would have thought it would have been more than that. Bush Hamden, $1.35 million. Going to have to prove it this year, much like Eric Wolford. We're going to find out what he's worth because he didn't have his players last year. So he had Cohen's players. a lot of Cohen's players. So we're going to find out now that he has his players and he can run his offense. Vince Marrow, $1.3 million, recruiting coordinator and tight ends coach. Yes, that guy is a master recruiter. The only reason we got to the point, we talk about Mark Stoops being the best coach in the history of Kentucky football. Vince Marrow's the best recruiter in the history of Kentucky football. That guy can recruit. We wouldn't have got every player, good player we got, loved Vince Marrow. You listen to that guy talk and you just love him as a man and as a person. So yes, Vince Marrow. Now, Eric Wolford, $900,000. We'll see. Mike Stoops, I believe that is Mark Stoops' brother, if my memory serves me correct. Linebackers coach, $700,000. Probably worth that. Jay Bulware, running back and special teams, $575,000. Now, special teams, even though we're a lousy team last year, special teams have improved. If you remember a couple of years ago, special teams were so bad we couldn't do anything. We couldn't. The guy couldn't get the snap right. We couldn't hit a field goal. We couldn't punt. So is Bulware worth $575,000? He was last year. So if he keeps it up, yeah, he's worth that. Anwar Stewart, of course, we all know him as a former player, $525,000 on the defensive line. Yeah, I mean, the defense has played well. Chris Collins, co-defensive coordinator and defensive back coach, $500,000. Okay, that's what you're going to pay for assistants, guys. Other teams pay that. So you get $500,000. Go look and see what Georgia, Texas, and see what their coordinators make. That's fair. Two more. Frank Buffano, defensive back coach, $440,000 a year. Man, our defensive backfield is the strength of our team. And last year they were good. Yes, he is worth $440,000 to me. And then last but not least, LaDamian Washington, wide receivers coach, $400,000. Well, brother, you're going to earn your $400,000 this year because we got two of our best receivers left. And yes, we got some inexperienced people, but yeah, if he puts that group together, $400,000, hey, give that guy a little bit of a raise. But no, I'm at 7 minutes now. Put down in the comments, should Wolford make $900,000 a year? Should we have kept him? I'm gambling yes on Mark Stoops. Everybody's saying, KSR, he's his friend and he's doing it because it's his friend. I hope not. I hope that's not the case. I hope it's the case. If you looked at spring training, I was impressed with what was said about him. I was impressed. If you watched him, he was mic'd up once. I mean, he was coaching his butt off, which for $900,000, you should be coaching your butt off. But that's up to you. What do you think? Obviously, the proof will be in the pudding, as they say. We're going to find out after about halfway through the season. You're going to know, yes, he is. I like our new offensive line, as I said. I like all the guys we picked up. I think I like the running backs we picked up. I think we're going to have a good year. I think we're going to surprise some people. Could I be wrong? Yeah. But look, as I said right before I get off of here, there's some teams that are down. It came out yesterday that DJ Lagway, I was watching a Florida podcast. They're freaking out because he's more hurt than what they're letting on. So they don't even know if he's going to start the season or will he be hobbled. Tennessee may be down. Auburn's Auburn. We've talked about that. So listen, don't give up hope just yet. Let's just hold off and see what happens. If you like this video, please help me out, guys. If you're watching this and you haven't subscribed, please hit that subscribe button. I'm trying to get to 500 subscribers so I can go live and do some more things. Once again, shorts are on. Check out my shorts portion of the channel where I put highlights of players from the past. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk again real soon.